Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar today. We have the pleasure of having one of our partners with us, Versapay, and they will be presenting on 3 ways to transform your AR and get paid faster with Business Central. And just as a reminder, we are recording this webinar and we will post it to our on-demand webinar library for you to review again or share with anyone. And you can find our library under our resources tab on our website at innovia.com. And we do encourage you to ask questions during our presentation, so please feel free to type them into the questions box and we will answer them at the end of our session. So now I'm going to turn it over to Naomi and she will begin our presentation.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Angie. I appreciate that. Well, thank you all for joining. As Angie had stated, my name is Naomi Marty, and I am Innovia's partner manager. So I worked with Innovia over the years. And then we have Ryan Kinter, who is our account executive special to Microsoft. And then we have Suzette Peak, who is our senior sales engineer. And so they'll be helping us today, kind of driving through the demo as we get to that part. So I do want to just say thank you again for joining. We're super excited to have you on today. A few things that we're going to cover during today's call. We have a really good agenda for you. And for those of you maybe who do not know who Versapay is, I'm going to share with you who is Versapay, right? And how did we come about? I'm going to share with you some of those typical, like your typical AR journey, right? And what are those some of those more common problems that maybe you're facing within the accounts receivable space? And then how can you get paid faster, right? And that's probably why you're here today. So we're going to highlight 3 ways that you can transform your AR in Business Central and get paid faster with leveraging the Versapay solutions. And then as I mentioned, we do have our special guests with us and experts who are going to kind of show us live in action what this experience looks like from a user's perspective. And then after that demo, I'm going to share with you a story about one of our customers who recently implemented the Versapay solution and really how it impacted their business. And as Angie had stated, if you do have any questions, please go ahead and submit them via that chat feature and we will get to them at the end. All right, so who is Versapay? And some of you, you may know us. Can you guys see my screen okay?
Yep.
Okay. So who is Versapay, right? Some of you, especially with the Microsoft channel, you might know us to be ChargeLogic. We, however, here at Versapay, so we were ChargeLogic. We were also a company called SoluPay and 2CP. And over the last few years, what we've done is we've acquired those companies as well as another company called Dade Systems. And that is really what Versapay is today. We do have headquarters in Toronto. We have offices in Atlanta and Miami. And then, of course, all of us who work remote throughout. So we have about 9,000 customers that we've served over 1 million buyers on that Versapay network. So we are continuing to grow and grow and grow. All right, so some of those challenges here that we see in our accounts receivable space, I want to show you, and this illustration kind of gives us a great idea or a great look at what does that typical AR journey look like for you. So for those of you who are on the line who maybe handle that AR directly, I want you to think about what does your typical day-to-day processes look like. Now, if we think about it, you create that sales order or quote, right? And that might involve, maybe there's credit reviews, maybe there's holds. And that order then gets converted to an invoice. And then that invoice, right, you need to deliver it. So you're going to worry about getting that delivered to the customer. Maybe it's lost in the mail. They don't ever receive it, right? Maybe the amount on that invoice is incorrect. So now once that customer gets the invoice, then you need to collect payment. So whether that's credit card, ACH, and that payment has to then settle and has to be applied to the invoice. So if you think about it, all of that takes time, it takes resources, And really, it really can create a bad experience for your customers as well. All right, so let's now highlight some of those challenges that we just kind of talked about within just your standard typical AR journey. So maybe you're doing a lot of manual tasks. So are you invoicing, right? And you're wanting to maybe get that sent digitally and easily to your customers. Are you doing like the payments piece? How about the collections or reconciliation, all of that data entry? So if you think about it, that is a lot of manual tasks that are taking your time. Maybe you're using multiple systems to process those payments, right? And with that, there's that lack of communication between those systems, and it's giving you a headache. I don't blame you, right? So what you're doing is you're really limiting your customers to be able, limiting the customer's ability to be able to pay you. You want to give them multiple payment options. So without having that, you really, in turn, can create a bad customer experience. Now, what if I told you that our Versapay solution can really help you solve those pain points and so much more? So here's an illustration that I love to show, and it just gives us a great summary about our offerings. Now, the vision and goal here is to really expand your functionality as your business grows and as you need it. So it's super scalable. Now, when you think about some of your pain points, right, or just your typical AR processes, maybe you're only needing to accept payments and log all those transactions in Business Central. Or maybe you're looking to automate your invoice delivery with electronic invoices. And you can do that. We have our Pay Now links. And you're probably wondering, what is Pay Links, right? And that is where you're going to be able to send those electronic invoices to your customers with a secure link to capture that payment. Maybe you're wanting to give your customers that 24/7 self-service option by offering them that customer portal. So we can help with that as well. And then if we look at that very top step there, that is where you can encompass both a customer portal as well as a supplier portal. So we're giving you the ability to add more features as you need it and as your business continues to grow. All right, let's talk a little bit about how we can get paid faster, right? So we can accelerate your cash flow by really getting your customers to pay online. And that can be done a few different ways. So maybe you're sending them those secure electronic invoices with those Pay Now links. And again, those are tokenized and encrypted. So in terms of PCI compliance, it is secure. And this is going to provide just an easy way for you to deliver those invoices, but also a quick way for your customers to make payment. One other thing too, if you do have like a website, we do have our e-commerce feature as well, which would allow you to collect payments seamlessly through your website. Number two, let's improve your customer experience. So improving your customer experience, you can do this by offering that portal, that 24/7 self-service option portal. And this is where they can pay invoices, they can view invoice history. Maybe they want to sign up for auto pay. They can certainly do that. And then you can also save, maybe there's cards they want to save into their wallet for future use. You're going to be able to do that as well. So really providing them with more payment options is going to make it easier for them to pay, which in turn, again, is going to create a happy customer. And then number three, empower collaboration. How can we do that? Right? Now, looking at this image, and if we think about that very top step, right? This is our full collaborative AR solution. And this is going to give you the ability to not just provide that portal to your customers, but also that supplier portal as well. So the collaborative AR network is really what you get when you take Versapay's industry-leading AR automation, which is going to give all that collaboration tools that you would expect really from those modern cloud-based applications And then if you add that into your optimized payment network, that is kind of what our full collaborative AR network would. So you can think of it as optimizing your payment collections. You can improve your DSO, which is your days sales outstanding. So you're going to get paid quicker. And that is all through our intelligent collections. So you can make informed decisions with our real-time dashboards. You've got actionable insights. And you can use the built-in collaboration tools to ask questions. You can post comments, and you can quickly resolve disputes about maybe it's the wrong invoice amount, maybe there was some goods that weren't received, right? And all of this can be done right through our collaborative AR platform. All right, so our clients that implement the Versapay solution, they're seeing a 50% reduction in managing their AR, so the time they're spending in that, a 25% acceleration in cash flow, and a 30% decrease in past due invoice. Now, those are some substantial improvements just in general, how you can transform your AR. All right, so let's just connect the dots real quickly before I hand this over to Ryan and Suzette. So the good news is there's a proven way where we can achieve all these benefits that we talked about, where you're going to be able to accelerate your cash flow, you can improve that customer experience, and then you can empower that collaboration as well. All right, let's go ahead and I'm going to hand this over to Ryan. Ryan, if you want to go ahead and show us live in action, we'd love to see it.
Sure. Let me just make sure I'm sharing my right screen. Are you able to see my screen now? Are you seeing VC?
Yep, looks good.
Perfect, awesome. So hi everyone, as Naomi mentioned, I'll be walking you through those first two stair steps that Naomi mentioned, which would be on her graph, which would be integrated payments. So taking payments inside the ERP for BC and NAV, so I'll be showing on BC, and also that Pay Now e-invoice where we can automate an invoice be sent to a customer with some pay options there. So I'll be going through that, and then I'll hand it over to Suzette, who will be able to show you the customer portal and additional functionality we can add with the collaboration tools. So using our integrated payments tool, you have the ability to do a couple of different things. The first thing I'll show you is storing cards. So a big piece of dealing with credit cards is dealing with the security measures of how those cards are being stored and taken. So we'll go over that first. So I'm just pulling open a customer card here in BC. And under this process tab is where you would see all the cards that you have stored for this particular customer. Now, I am in a demo environment, so there's a lot of different stuff in here. But the main piece I wanted to talk about here is the security measures behind how cards are stored. So using our integrated payment solution for BC and NAV, you would never be storing any raw cardholder data. Very important, you would be storing everything as a token using tokenization. So those card numbers would be encrypted and stored as a token, which would allow you to use tokens for further use. So for example, if you have customers that make recurring payments, you can easily take a card and enter that and have that stored as a token. And then if they call in a week later, you can easily charge that card on a sales order in BC. There's also a couple different ways to collect tokens. So I did just mention that you're able to manually enter those, which you are able to do that and have it stored as a token. But we are also able to securely get tokens back into BC if customers are paying on the Pay Now e-invoicing tools and the customer portals that will be showing you today. So there's a couple other ways we can get tokens back into BC securely without having to take that card over the phone. So obviously a big benefit there as well. So just really wanted to highlight this at first because, again, our solution helps you to be more PCI compliant of how you're managing that data, and having tokenization is a big step forward there. And with all the cards, you can see with them being tokens, you can still see the last 4 digits, as well as you have the ability to select a default card on the main card. So when you're doing a sales order, that default can automatically populate. And I'll show you that in the first example, what that looks like. So that first example will be, we'll just start with a traditional sales order and you taking a payment on a sales order. That's one of our main functionalities. So I'm going to go to New Document and pull open a sales order here. I apologize. My internet's a little slow today, so sorry for looking at the spinning here. Well, really slow today. I apologize. Okay, perfect. So now we have a sales order here on the customer card. I'm just going to do a one-item order. We'll make things really easy for demo purposes. Just doing one item here. So now that we have our item selected, you can see the totals are going to start adding here in a second. Again, I apologize, my internet is very slow, so that's why you're seeing some delays when I'm doing these steps. But you're seeing the total add up here in the bottom, but the total payment amount is still showing zero. Well, that's because we have not done any payment related steps yet. The first step would be selecting a card type. So going down to this payment tab is where you'd be able to select that. Now I had mentioned earlier on my last screen that we had that MasterCard select as a default. So as you can see, that's automatically populating here. You can easily select the other cards that you have on file. Again, they are stored as tokens, but you still have visibility to the last 4 digits, and the card type, and the expiration date and year. So if a customer calls in, you can say, hey, do you want to charge the Visa or MasterCard? And if they have multiple of the same card type, you can still see the last 4 digits. So we'll use this MasterCard in our example. Do want to point out while we're doing this that we do have the ability to support ACH, so you can change that to ACH if you're wanting to charge from the customer's bank account. And also want to mention, for demo purposes, we won't go into this, but we do support prepayments similar to this functionality. So if you're wanting to take, let's say, 50% up front, we would be able to do that here and then invoice for the remaining. But for demo purposes, like I said, we'll just do a basic sales order. So we're taking this MasterCard. We'll go ahead and go through the process to authorize. Authorization would be the first step here, because the point of authorizations is simply say, hey, does this card have the funds to complete the transaction? And when authorization is complete, a hold will be actually placed on those funds. So the authorization will be the first step. And then the next step after that would be to go ahead and settle that authorization, so actually capture those funds from that hold. Now, I am in a demo environment, so we do not have any automation set up. But I do want to highlight and stress here that our solution allows you to automatically authorize cards when orders are either shipped or released. So we can really, really improve and make the experience much better for your team to automatically authorize cards and also optimize the settlement process as well. So we can really make this piece much quicker for you. But because my demo environment is set up, we don't have any automation set up. But just wanted to highlight that automation can be set up for your team. So I'm going to go ahead and manually authorize this card. I'm going to hit submit payment. You'll see when I hit submit payment, that's going to be the step to authorize. So once that authorization is complete, you'll see this total payment amount, which is now showing zero, will show the full amount. So again, the authorization was complete. You can drill into this section, but maybe for demo purposes, I won't do that now, but you are able to see some more detail in a little audit trail there as well. But now that the authorization was complete, the next step would be to go ahead and post. So again, the authorization would place a hold on those funds. To post would actually be the step to settle and capture those funds, so which we'll do right now. So I'm going to get in post. Again, I'm doing this manually, so I'm doing the manual authorization and settlement. Again, we can automate these processes for you today. So we have posted this. I'm going to pull this open and show you that the card, again, is going to be shown as a posted sales invoice in VC with the net amount settled showing full amount. So again, we have authorized and settled on a sales order here. Again, going back to my original pieces, we can automatically authorize cards that when orders are either shipped or released. So again, this authorization, the settlement process can be sped up. I just did it manually with me being in a demo environment today. So taking cards on sales orders on VC is a big part of our solution. Beyond that, we also have some tools for the AR side, the collections piece. So I'll show you that as well. And that's that second stair step that Naomi showed you earlier. So we can automate an invoice when posted to be sent to a customer, or they're able to receive an email. This email can be branded for your company. So it would have your name and logo here at the top, and the top of the email. So they would feel like it's coming from you all. They would be able to hit this link and view or download the PDF, which would be pulled directly from BC. So be using your PDF from BC on that invoice. And the customer is also going to have the option to hit Pay Now or View Invoices. So again, this email can be automated. And when they do select Pay Now, that's going to be that first experience that we will show you. So the Pay Now is going to be a situation where the customer never has to log in. They're hitting this link, and they're going to be taken to a page where they can pay that invoice. I'll be showing you that example. If you're using any of our customer portal tools, your customers will also see this View Invoices tab, which Suzette will be showing you that in a little bit. That would be how they are taken to the customer portal. So for right now, I'll just be showing you this Pay Now example. So I'm going to hit Pay Now. It's going to take me to this page. Similar to what I just mentioned, this page can be branded and have a logo for your company here. And this is just my demo environment, so that's why you're seeing this name here at the top. You can download the invoice, view the terms here and the amount. And this is where the customer would start selecting how they would like to pay. So for this example, I have credit card and bank account, so an ACH transaction, both available. You do have the ability to limit this, so if you're wanting, because this customer is on terms, you're only wanting customers to pay with ACH, you can have this bank account be the only option. Or we also now support surcharging. So you can have it when a customer does select credit card, it's going to prompt them here at the top that a surcharge is going to be applied if you're paying with credit card. It's going to mention to them that, hey, if they're not wanting to pay a surcharge, they can easily pay with a debit card or an ACH transaction. So surcharging is a great way for customers to still be able to pay with credit card. So you're not changing their experience. You're just simply saying, hey, if you're paying with a credit card, because you're on terms, we're going to charge you, let's say 3%. So we have a lot of different options here when it comes to the payment type ability. The next step would be the customer would start filling out their payment information here. So they would fill out their card information. We are asking for some line item detail here. That's going to help with some interchange and processing rates. We'll talk about that down the road. But the customer would start filling out their card information. And they have two different options. They can go down first before they hit pay. They do have the ability to consent to have their payment information stored for further transactions. This is kind of going back to that first piece that I showed you when we talked about having cards stored as tokens. This is a great way to have tokens stored back in the customer card in BC without you having to manually handle those. So you can send this customer this link. They can fill out their payment information. Let's say they're a first-time customer, you've never done business with them. They can consent to have that card stored back into BC. So if they were to call in a week later, you would have that MasterCard securely stored where you could then run that again if you like. Customer can go ahead and hit pay. A couple things will happen. That invoice in the payment application will happen back into BC in real time. Also, the customer would receive an email notification that the invoice was paid. So the customer would also receive that via email. So really the one thing to think about this whole experience is we can automate this. So from the invoice presentment, anytime an invoice is posted, your customer can receive this email, and then the customer has a great experience and very easily able to pay that invoice. And then also when they do decide to pay, that payment application is going to happen automatically back into BC. So this can really automate a lot of steps for your team and also your customer while improving the customer pay experience. So I'm going to take a quick pause. I think this is a great time for me to hand it over to Suzette, who can handle and show you the customer payment portal where customers are going to be able to view and manage all invoices. So what I'll be doing next is showing you, I just went over that example of the Pay Now. Now I mentioned if you are using our customer portal capabilities and have that turned on, your customers will be able to have a toggle here to hit View Invoices. You can also, we have customers that take a link to view invoices and embed our link to our portal onto the website. So there's a couple different ways to drive your customers to the payment portal, but this is usually the easiest way because we can automate that invoice presentment like we talked about earlier. So very similar to that Pay Now, except the View Invoices is going to take them to sign into a portal. Signing in is a very easy experience because once they sign in, they can save their payment information or their sign-in information for further use. So once they sign in once, they can save that to continue to keep signing in. Really the main idea of the portal, similar to the Pay Now, is to make a very easy payment experience for your customers. The big piece with the customer portal is they can now view and manage all of their open invoices. Similar to the Pay Now we talked about earlier, it can be branded for your company, so your company would have their name and logo here, so your customer feels like they're in your own customer portal. They can do a lot of different things here. So right now I have the invoices selected here at the top. As you can see, they can either search by invoice number, PO number, they can pull out a statement. Right now I have all open items selected, but they can even go to other toggles like what should I pay? So this is going to show all invoices that are overdue or due in the next 5 days. It's also going to show payment incentives. So if you have any payment incentives set up in BC, those will also be shown and honored here. Scheduled payments tab, there's even a more tab where customers can go ahead and manage, as you can see, a lot of different things. They can look at different toggles for open, close, current, overdue, or even credits. So our portal, if you're allowing your customers to manage credits on their own, that will be presented for them. So again, a lot of different visibility tools that they can use to view their account. And that's the main piece here, is making it easy for customers to view and manage multiple invoices. So in this example, I'll just kind of quickly go over, selecting, let's say 3 invoices, so these top invoices. I'm going to go ahead and select the top 3. Before I do that, you can even individually open one invoice at a time. So if there's specific questions, you can open that. Again, it's going to be showing the exact format you're using in BC. You're able to see some more information here at the bottom. Again, attachments, if the person did view that notification. Going back to this, I do have the 3 selected. I'm going to go ahead and hit pay, which is going to bring me to the tab to pay. Now, a couple things on this. We showed you the Pay Now earlier. The Pay Now did allow for 1 invoice at a time, but the customer also had to enter their information, their payment information on their own. So the other benefit here, as you can see, is multiple invoices at a time, but also they can securely store payments for further use. So for example, just like we talked about earlier, your customer can store their own card, so as a token securely. So when they are checking out, they can say, hey, I want to use my MasterCard again. Similar to, an Amazon checkout-like experience where you've saved the card that you want to continue to use down the road. So customers can easily go through here, again, pay multiple invoices, have payments stored for further use. During checkout, they can go ahead and complete payment. I did want to show this tab because it does show a surcharging option or a surcharging line item here. That's because in this particular portal on the demo that I'm doing, in this demo environment, we have surcharging enabled. So this would be similar checkout experience if your customer did have surcharging. It would make this a line item. It would show them, hey, if you're selecting a credit card, it's going to cost you 3%, as you can see here. But if the customer does decide to pay with bank account or debit card, it is free. So again, surcharging is also supported in the customer portal, just like we talked about during the Pay Now. Just like the Pay Now, going back to what we talked about earlier, when the customer does complete payment, that payment application to those invoices is going to happen in real time back into BC. And if a customer is paying with a new payment type, or if they store a new payment type, that is also going to be stored back into BC as a token. So again, the customer portal is a great way to have your customer manage their cards on their own. Even if they go to the top here and add a payment type, so add a new payment method, that will be securely stored as a token and also securely stored back into BC. So just a great way for your customers to make multiple payments and manage their own payments, their payment types on their own. So really good customer experience. Typically we see with customers having access to the portal and having to pay multiple invoices and having different payment types like credit card or ACH, you typically see your DSO go down and your payments come back much quicker, as well as your customer experience of paying those to be improved. So your customers are going to like this experience because they can really handle this all on their own. I did want to mention customers also have the ability to manage credits on their own as well. So during the checkout, like we talked about, if they're checking out for an invoice, they can also check a credit, which will be applied during checkout as well. And that's up to you if you're wanting customers to be able to handle that. Beyond just open invoices, customers can also manage payments. So when I say payments, this is going to be payments from all avenues. So if a customer called in a week earlier, this will show up here on a payment, similar to that first example I showed during the demo of just completing a normal sales order. Those payments will show here. Customers using the Pay Now, those payments will be shown here if completed, as well as customers making payments on the portal. Again, it's going to show all the payment history. You can search by payment number, invoice number, applied, any prepayments that have been done, authorized or in progress, completed or errors, or even just a date range. Customers can also export this information as well. That way they're able to take this back if they need this information on file. So again, really what we're doing here, we're allowing them to be accessible to all their invoices, to their payment history. So this is going to really cut down on the reliance for them to have to call in and say, hey, what invoices do I owe that are due soon? What about the payments that we made recently? They can view all that on their own. So it's going to really, like we talked about, increase the customer experience, but also really cut time on your team down, especially with the payment application back in the BC. Customers can also view an orders tab, any activities. Again, we talked about early pay incentives set up in BC. Those will be honored here. This Ready Should I Pay just shows that those three invoices that I went through a checkout but didn't actually complete the payment. Customers also can make a prepayment here as well. So they can fill this out to make a prepayment, or awesome functionality that we do now allow us to sign up for auto pay. So a customer can sign up for auto pay and use their ACH to auto pay invoices here. Similar to what we talked about earlier, customers can go up here and manage a couple different things. So payment methods, again, they can easily add or delete new payment methods. If they're wanting to add a new ACH account or new credit card, that's fine. Again, just like we talked about, when they do that, that's going to be updated on their customer card in BC with that stored token. So if you're taking payments over the phone, those can go away with the Pay Now or e-invoice as far as taking a payment and securely storing it. Customers can also manage users, so they can easily add or delete users on their team who have access to the portal. So it's a very easy self-service experience. I'm going to take a quick pause. Not sure if there's any questions in the chat, or if this is a good time to pause and maybe hand it back over to Naomi.
Perfect. Thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. Again, if there's any questions, go ahead and submit them via the chat. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here.
No questions have come through yet, guys.
Okay. All right, can you see my screen okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, so I want to share a story about one of our customers that recently has implemented the Versapay solution. They're called Research and Productivity Council. I'll refer to them as RPC. And what they do is they provide an array of services that help ensure like food safety. RPC's Accounts Receivable department discovered a growing problem with all of their overdue accounts, and they generated about 1,300 invoices each month, and they had a lot of manual processes. So in fact, they were spending about 2 hours every day and had over $800,000 in overdue invoices. That's a lot, right? They were also super limited on the payment options that they had to offer their customers. So they were dealing with unhappy customers as well. Now, once we implemented Versapay, they were able to decrease their outstanding overdue invoices by over 200,000 to only 200,000. So they decreased it from 800,000 to 200,000 and reduced their overdue accounts by 70%. Now, this is just one example of many ways that Versapay can really help transform your AR help you get paid faster, create a better customer experience, and really just get everything in your AR streamlined. Okay, now next steps. Let's talk a little bit about what do you do next, right? Now we shared a whole bunch of information with you and a lot of general information. What we would like to do is really hop on a call one-on-one with you and your team. We can kind of go through discovery, right? Learn what does your AR processes look like today, and we can show you and talk through ways that we can really change that and streamline all of those processes. So please go ahead and get a hold of your representative through Innovia. You guys are in great hands with the Innovia team. And I'm going to open it up to any questions that we have. So again, if you want to submit them via the chat, you certainly can do that.
Okay, Naomi and Ryan, we do have a couple of questions for you. Do you have the ability to support e-commerce?
Amy, do you want me to handle that?
Yeah, please, Ryan.
Yeah, so we do. There's a couple different pieces we can do for e-commerce. So we do have some pre-built plugins for different e-commerce platforms, which some include Magento, WooCommerce, SonaCommerce, Commerce Build, and a couple others off the top of my head I can't think of. So we have some pre-built connectors. So reach out to us if you want to learn more about if we have a connector for your current platform. If we don't, we still have the options because we have an open API, so we can share our information with you, which then you can go ahead and connect to our e-commerce connector. The e-commerce connector can help with payments and orders flowing back into BC to help automate that process so you're not handling that manually today. So either we have a plugin for you, if not, we have an easy way to connect to your current platform to help automate those payments.
Okay, thank you. And do you support both credit card and ACH payment options?
Yes, we do. So going back to kind of the demo I showed earlier, you can even go on a customer card and charge the customer's bank account for the ACH transaction. And on the Pay Now e-invoicing or on the customer portal, we can enable ACH as a payment option, as you saw during the demo. So great way to start taking other payments other than credit card, especially for those customers who are on terms. If we can get customers to pay via ACH, definitely going to help with your cost of acceptance, as ACH is much lower than credit card.
Okay, and approximately how long will this take to implement?
Yeah, that's a great question. That can vary on numerous factors. So it depends on how many companies in BC you have, depends what functionality you're using, whether you're using a customer portal, e-commerce platform. So it varies pretty significantly. I will say that this is definitely something we can get up within a couple months. So not a massive lift. And we'd be more than happy to answer your questions on a specific case-by-case basis, since it does vary between how many, like I said, companies you're doing or what functionality you're using. So.
Okay, thank you. And one last question. Do you support surcharging?
Yep. Yes, we do. So those Pay Now e-invoicing option that I showed you, where we can automate the invoice, they can go ahead and pay on that link, or if they decide to hit view all invoices and use our customer portal, both enable surcharging. Surcharging is up to you if you want it on or off. If you do have it on, again, when a customer is presented, when they start filling out their credit card, it's going to be presented that they're going to be surcharged for a credit card. The benefit and the nice piece about that is it's going to say, hey, because you're using credit card, we're going to charge you, let's say, 3%. But if you pay with ACH or debit card, there's going to be no fee. So from the customer's perspective, they're not feeling like they're forced to be taking on a surcharge. You're just simply saying, hey, if you're going to pay with credit card on the customer portal or e-commerce or your Pay Now, we're going to surcharge you. So you're not forcing your hand and allowing them to pay however they would like.
Okay, great. Thank you. I think those are all the questions that we have for you today. If anybody has any additional questions or if you want to further your conversation, please reach out to Naomi at Versapay, or you can contact your Innovia account manager, and they will be more than happy to discuss more in detail. So thank you again, everyone, for attending. Thank you to the Versapay team for the presentation today.
Right. Thanks, Angie, and bye, everyone. Thank you.
Thanks, Angie. Thanks, everyone.
You're welcome. You can check out our website for more of our upcoming events, and that's innovia.com/events. And you can also check out our training workshop page at innovia.com/workshops. We do have a variety of workshops to fit your role, so check out the ones that are right for you and your team. And if you have not heard the latest Innovia Conversation podcast, we have a library of podcast episodes for you to listen to, and you can learn more on our podcast page at innovia.com/podcast. So browse through our selection and subscribe so you'll get notified when those new episodes air. And we have our customer conference information on our website. Visit our conference page at innovia.com/conferences. The Innovia Customer Conference is a free event for you to attend. So check out the conference page to learn more and to register for our event. And you can also register for DynamicsCon Live. Both events are happening back to back at the same location starting on May 21st in Scottsdale, Arizona. So register now so you don't miss out on these two great events. All right. Well, again, thank you everyone for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you soon on another Innovia webinar. Take care, everyone. Thanks
All
again,
right.
Ryan
Bye.
and
Thank
Naomi.
you.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks. Bye-bye.